You almost had me when you said, I feel bad that I didn't pick up on it, and then you immediately just dove right back into the hole. Pack your bags, it's an all-vacation episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
I'm Kristie, and I've scoured Reddit for the best vacation Am I the Asshole stories.
So let's jump right in.
Am I the asshole for saying I'll be driving myself and paying for my own room on the upcoming family vacation so I won't have to be a babysitter?
I'm gonna say no. I guess you're not obligated to be a babysitter on a family vacation if they're not your kids.
I, 23 male, was repeatedly stuck playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my 3 nephews.
It's so bad that you had to move.
Last year, we took a family vacation in the summer to the coast. I rode along with my parents, and they paid for my hotel room. Only, I had to share that room with 3 rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves.
Oh, but that's not how that works.
I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead, I ended up having to help with these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded I was there for free. And then we pretty much just did only one thing that I wanted to do, which was tour an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed that I'd be riding along the same way as last year, but I refused. I said I'd be driving myself and paying for my own hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry, I've got a good job and a decent running car. I can more than afford it. That's when the buts started. I stated the previously listed things as why I'll be driving myself and paying for myself. I wanted to be able to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good way to get yourself off of the kids' table, right?
Yeah. Plus, he's 23. He can afford to pay for his own stuff, probably.
It sounds like he can, yeah.
My parents told my sister, and she called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own thing while she has to wrangle her 3 boys.
Okay, so you ruin the vacation if she doesn't have a free babysitter so she can wander off?
I ended up yelling at her that last year all she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to just go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister is not speaking to me, and my parents are still trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing, but the pressure is getting to me. Am I the asshole for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help.
I mean, it sounds like you're doing a little more than just helping.
Sister wants to pawn off her 3 little goblins on him so that she can have a nice vacation.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care that she's ruining his vacation because he's there for free. And I don't think that's fair. They should be paying him for watching her goblins. Like a free vacation, it's not a vacation if you're watching 3 kids the whole time that aren't even yours.
I can understand a little bit if you're, going as a family, that he doesn't get his own room.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that weird to have to share it with your nephews, but also, like, it doesn't mean you're the babysitter.
And they have designated him as the sole babysitter for the whole vacation.
Yeah, right?
Is what it sounds like.
And if you just want to go do your own thing, yeah, it sounds like you have a good solution.
Edit. It's barely been an hour since I posted, but my sister is apparently a Reddit lurker in the mornings, and she saw my post. Not only is she furious with me, but she's upset no one in the comments is siding with her.
Honestly, it's kind of really satisfying when the person you're complaining about finds out that, oh, no one in the comments is siding with me. Wait.
Maybe I'm the asshole.
I don't know if they ever go that far.
No. To make it short, she went on a big rant about how it's so hard to be a parent to triplets, and that the least I could do is help because I'm young and single and she needs a break. I stood my ground on my decision, and now she's calling our parents to get them involved. I'm expecting a call from them any minute.
It sounds like...
Triplets is hard. I didn't know they were the same age.
I didn't either. Triplets is hard. That's, I have a lot more sympathy for her.
But still, you don't get to go on a vacation and pawn your kids off on somebody else.
Yeah, right?
They're your kids.
If you want to do that, then go on a couple's vacation with your hubby and pay your brother to watch them for a weekend or something, right? You don't ruin his vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, grandparents could stand to do a little more. I don't know the exact ratio, but it sounds like they're making him do a lot when like grandparents could do some stuff. As parents, you just don't get as many kid-free vacations anymore.
Yeah, now there are family vacations where you are making an enjoyable vacation for your children and creating memories for them.
Yeah.
It's not about you anymore when you're a parent
It's really
going
not.
on vacations, unless you are planning a parent's vacation and leaving the kids at home with a babysitter.
Yeah, and it sounds like they have a close enough family that they probably could talk this brother into, if they stop fighting with him right now.
Yeah.
Probably talk him into being like, hey, come watch him for a weekend. Yeah, that's completely normal.
Update. Well, I'm off work now, so I can tell more of what went down. I guess you could say it's over. My sister got our parents involved. They looked at my post and were absolutely horrified by the continuous influx of commenters. Yes, they're very angry with me that I posted here, but I told them that if they just listened to me to begin with, I'd have never needed to. I'm sick of the whole keep the peace mentality that sacrifices me to placate my sister. They in turn went off on my sister, and to make a long story short, the whole vacation has been canceled. The hotel wasn't booked yet anyway. But my parents are arguing with my sister, and my sister is blaming me, and my nephews are crying because they aren't going to the beach. My sister called me at lunch and basically implied that I have no life, which is why I have time to help. I recorded that and told our parents, and that's currently what they're fighting about. Small update, I wasn't going to update again, but here's a little more. Parents said that they won't ever push babysitting of my nephews on me again, and have agreed that what happened last year was unfair to me. Right now, they're very angry with my sister for telling me that I should help her because she thinks I have no life. My sister is playing the victim. And my brother-in-law is basically saying nope to the whole thing and spending most of his time at work.
Okay.
Brother-in-law sucks.
That's not a great reaction, honestly.
Thank you to everyone who commented. You made my day. Yeah, brother-in-law being like, nope, that's not my circus, not my monkeys. It is your circus and your monkeys.
It's specifically your monkeys.
So brother-in-law sucks. Sister sucks for being like, I have it so hard being a mother. You take my children so I can have a vacation. That's very, very assholey behavior.
Yeah, I fully understand wanting family to help out. And, like, if you're going on a family vacation, being like, hey, can you take the kids for an afternoon so that we can escape?
Can you take the kids for one afternoon?
Yeah.
Not the entire vacation.
No, not the entire vacation. I think as a couple, right, in that scenario, you get 2 afternoons. You get one by pawning them off on the brother and one by pawning them off on the parents.
Yeah.
And then the rest is family vacation for you.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, right?
And sister's not being reasonable.
And at the beach, how old are these kids?
They didn't say how old.
Okay, well, they're young enough that they're hard to babysit.
Yeah.
And at the beach, your job is to make sure they don't drown.
Yeah, making sure 3 kids of the same undetermined age don't drown at the beach by yourself.
That's not fun.
No. So he is not the asshole. His sister is. I'm glad his parents have seen the error of their ways and realized that what they did to him last summer on vacation was wrong.
Apparently, airing all your family's laundry on Reddit solves problems.
Not for the sister.
No, well...
Am I the asshole for telling a friend my solo trip wasn't meant to be a group trip after he booked flights to join me?
It's so weird to me to just invite yourself along on a trip.
Okay, I, 20 female, have been planning a solo trip through Asia for the past 6 months. It's a 2-month-long trip. I booked my flights and accommodations months ago and built out a detailed itinerary. I always saw this as my trip, something I was doing alone, but open to overlapping with friends here or there. A friend of mine, 30 male, who I met in university, mentioned months ago that he was also thinking of traveling. In person, I said that if he was free to go, maybe we could overlap. Later on, he asked for my itinerary, and I shared it, but I didn't ask for his input or plan it with him. I had already made most of the arrangements on my own.
I don't know if I would understand that overlapping means we can meet up every now and then. Maybe I'm not of this kind of a vacation person. Mm-hmm. Like where you're traveling across the country. Overlapping to me means, I don't know what it means, honestly. I might have to ask for more clarification, but if you told me that you invited somebody to overlap, I would assume that they're allowed to come with you.
Okay, it is a 2-month vacation, so maybe he's thinking, I don't have time to take off 2 months, but I can, the 1 week I'm there, spend with her or whatever.
Right? That's a very, that's not that weird.
That would be reasonable, right?
Yeah, well, let's find out. Instead of me talking over you. Anyways, if I'm going to talk over you, I probably shouldn't. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
He recently told me, less than a week before the trip starts, that he booked flights. He'd been sick for a while, so I wasn't even sure if he was still going. When I clarified that I still saw this as a solo trip, not something we'd be doing together the whole way, he got upset. He brought up an old message where I said, "This is as much your trip as mine," as proof that I misled him. But I only said that when he was apologizing for being sick and slow to confirm, and I was trying to be nice. We never actually planned anything together or had a conversation about traveling as a pair. He just adopted my itinerary. He now says he wouldn't have booked the same route if he'd known we weren't going to do it together. I feel bad he's disappointed, and I apologize for not being more explicit earlier, but I don't think I should be blamed for assumptions he never communicated. He didn't ask questions, didn't help plan, and could have just picked one country to overlap instead of mimicking my full 2-month trip. So, am I the asshole for not telling him sooner that this wasn't a shared trip? So he's following her for the full 2 months.
You're not the asshole, but I feel like you both suck at communicating. You put out a few things that make it sound like you're okay with him tagging along. Like, this is as much your trip as mine, is a very strange thing to text. But also, he didn't speak. You guys need to communicate.
Yeah.
But no, you're not the asshole, I guess.
One thing I want to point out, she's 20 female, he's 30 male.
She said they met in college.
Yeah, but she's 20 female, he's 30 male.
It's a little... I was wondering about, like, the idea of a man tagging along with her, if he thought this was, like, a good chance to make something happen. I didn't hear her age at the beginning, so I wasn't sure about that.
Okay, everyone in Reddit is very concerned for her because this 30-year-old man and kind of invited himself along and knows her full itinerary for her 2-month trip through a foreign country where she will be alone.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hopefully family knows her itinerary. No, I thought it was weird to invite yourself along on your single female's friend if you aren't interested in them, right?
Top comment, NTA, he's 30 and you're 20. Friend, trust me, as someone who trusted all the wrong older guys when I was your age. Run and show no remorse or weakness. It's okay to feel bad, but don't let him think your boundaries are wavering. My bet is he did this on purpose. He didn't communicate more because he knew what you wanted, and he thought he could manipulate you into doing what he wanted if he pretended to misunderstand. You suggested you could overlap, not go together. He thought that was ambiguous enough that he could feign misunderstanding. He knew that in a foreign country, you'd be far away from any support network who could point out he was being toxic and planned to love bomb/manipulate you into a level of intimacy he knows you don't want. And if it wasn't deliberate, then he's a 30-year-old man who somehow never bothered to learn basic boundaries and communication, which can have the same effect on you as if he were a deliberate predator.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird to tag along on a trip with a girl that is a decade younger than you. I agree with that poster. Like, it's a bit hard to imagine that he's not doing this in some way that he's romantically interested in her.
Next top comment, NTA. Honey, this guy wants to fuck you, now has your entire itinerary and is unhappy with you. Consider switching things around with your trip so he doesn't know exactly where you will be and when you will be there. You are going to encounter this again. Do not default to polite. Be 100% direct with what you mean, and do not try to spare a man's feelings. I guarantee they aren't going to spare yours. I'm thinking he's going to have accommodation issues and will try to say that he has to stay with her in her room.
I mean, I was expecting her to just be doing hostels.
Yeah. Anyways, everybody in the comments thinks that this guy is a creepy predator and manipulating her, and are very concerned that she's going to be alone in a foreign country where he knows her every move.
I didn't go quite that far. I assumed
because you're not a woman. I'm sorry.
No, I know that's the reason. I expected it was more like he's the guy that likes her, and he's going to use this as an opportunity to slowly get closer to her.
I feel like
I didn't think of it as a predator way, but as it is still a little creepy way.
He's giving me nice guy vibes, where he thinks he's a nice guy, and he's not. He's a manipulative, toxic asshole.
He's giving some nice guy vibes. I think even the other commenters are, like, ambiguous, calling, we can overlap too ambiguous. That was too ambiguous.
Yeah.
Not that it's your fault, but you should have said, like...
We can overlap a few days.
Yeah.
Would have fixed the problem.
Would have fixed the whole problem, because we can overlap. I did not understand that when you read it to me. I was like, does that mean we can just overlay my trip on top of yours and follow along? It sounds like an invitation, but it also sounds like they didn't communicate.
Yeah, anyways, I don't think she's the asshole for being upset. And yeah, I might, if I was her, I would be changing my plans,
A little bit.
because that guy's giving creepery vibes. I mean, I don't know him, but that's the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah, I try not to be the person when we read these stories to be like they're a murderer. I try not to go that far. But as a 20-year-old woman traveling alone with a 30-year-old man, you maybe need to a certain extent, expect them to not have the greatest intentions.
No update.
Yeah, she's dead.
Dead.
How long ago was that post?
28 days.
Oh, she's somewhere in Asia then.
Yeah, she's somewhere in Asia right now. Hopefully not with that guy. Am I the asshole for abandoning my daughter on vacation?
I mean, from that much information, yes.
How old is the daughter?
That's what I was going to say. I have no information other than you abandoned someone on vacation. So, yes.
My wife and I have always dreamed of celebrating our 40th anniversary with a luxurious vacation. Just the two of us, reliving the romance of our early years. We had it all planned out for years now, and we're excited beyond words. Enter our adult daughter, Jane.
All that romance we had before Jane was born.
Jane and her husband got wind of our plans and promptly invited themselves and their 2 children, 9 female, 5 male, along.
I can't imagine inviting myself along on someone's vacation.
And so many people in these stories are doing it.
We don't even have kids. We wouldn't be that as annoying as, like, bringing the grandkids, but, like, still,
I don't unless I am explicitly invited.
Yeah.
I'm like, have fun on your vacation.
Yeah. Maybe that's because for me, a vacation is getting away from from everyone, right? I want to be alone with my wife for a little bit, and I don't want to see. I love my family. I love your family. I don't want to see them for a week.
Which is really funny considering our past 2 vacations were family vacations with my family.
It's not that bad. I'm just saying, like, it's not. If you're not explicitly invited, it is weird to me to be like, I want to come too.
I originally put my foot down and told them this trip was just for us, which upset her some. But my wife has a hard time saying no to Jane, as she is the youngest of our children and our only daughter, and she didn't want to hurt her feelings, so she reluctantly agreed to let them join. I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but I wanted to make my family happy, and I knew my wife was also okay with the idea of a family trip. Even if she was heartbroken, we wouldn't get our romantic trip. We went along with it. The place we were originally going was not child-friendly, so we changed course and decided on an all-inclusive family-friendly resort. We paid for the resort and our grandchildren's plane tickets. Jane and her husband only had to pay for their own airfare. Here's where things get complicated. As the vacation got closer, I started having a change of heart. I realized that our 40th anniversary was a once-in-a-lifetime milestone, and I wanted to honor it in a way that was true to our original plans. My wife and I might not be able to afford a trip like this again for quite some time, and it's something we always wanted to do. So, without consulting anyone, I switched our tickets last minute to go to the romantic destination that my wife and I had originally planned for.
Bro, no, don't do that's crazy.
I did not tell Jane or her husband. I didn't even tell my wife until the day before our flight left, which was the day before Jane's flight left for their vacation. It wasn't an easy decision, and I feel guilty about it, but I wanted our 40th anniversary to be the special, intimate celebration we had always hoped for. We called Jane after we landed to tell her, and she was extremely upset, to say the least. She seemed to have the idea that we were going to look after our grandkids, so she and her husband could have some alone time, and now that I abandoned her, they would have to do it all themselves. I hung up on them when my son-in-law started shouting, and my wife and I enjoyed the rest of our trip. They came back the same day we did, but have not answered any of our texts, and Jane seems to be ignoring me. My wife told me she vastly preferred our trip to the family trip we would have taken, but she still doesn't like how Jane is mad at us and wants me to apologize. I'm not sure I want to after learning Jane and her husband were using us for free babysitting and a free trip, but I feel like I should just to keep the peace. Am I the asshole for changing our trip destination last minute and leaving Jane and her family to fend for themselves?
Yeah, you're the asshole. I'm sorry. I know that everything up to that point you weren't the asshole, but the second you just, like, ghosted them, you become everyone sucks here.
I feel like it was a little bit assholey to his wife,
Yeah.
To just change it.
It's asshole to everyone.
But I don't know. Jane invited herself and her little grandkids along on an anniversary trip. She's an asshole.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why he just was like going and doing his own thing.
He could have said no firmer, though. It sounds like wife caved. Like, you could have been like, I love you, honey, but I'm going to tell our daughter no. Please do not tell her yes later.
Okay, Jane is absolutely the asshole for inviting herself and her children along and then planning to use her parents as free babysitting on their anniversary trip.
Yeah. If it wasn't their anniversary trip, it's perfectly reasonable to get a little bit of free babysitting out of your parents. Mm-hmm. But she's being very entitled with her parents' time.
Yes, but it was a little assholey to just switch it without telling her.
You can't just ghost her after you already after they set up all those plans.
Well, they let her know before her flight took off.
Okay, what were they gonna do at that point?
Not go, which would have been fine. But also, he paid for the resort and his grandkids' tickets, so they were getting a almost free vacation. So I don't understand why Jane is so upset with them. Like, she's being very entitled. Like, you still got a free vacation, you just had to watch your own kids.
I know. So. I kept thinking about that because he's like, I don't know if we'll be able to afford another vacation like this. You know, I don't know when the next time we'll be able to afford a vacation like this is. And he paid for 2 vacations.
Yeah. Jane is, I don't like Jane. She's very inconsiderate.
Yeah. None of the other kids invited themselves and their families along.
Yeah. But anyways, a little bit of an asshole to change plans without telling anyone. So
yeah, I think that was your downfall. Mm-hmm. The second you ghosted them instead of being an adult and talking it out. What did Reddit think about that one? Because I'm actually on the fence on how Reddit's going on this one. I think they're going to go not the asshole, but
Reddit is going not the asshole. Not the asshole. Everybody sucks here.
Everybody sucks here is kind of how I'm
not
going.
Not the asshole. NTA, what part of 40th anniversary trip did your daughter and son-in-law not understand? Oh, boo freaking who. They wanted to spend time alone and designated the grandparents to babysit on what should have been their special trip.
Yeah.
If your daughter and son-in-law wanted alone time on a trip, they could have gone on a different trip and politely asked you and your wife to watch the kids while they were away. Not try and hijack your trip.
Yeah, hijacking their trip and it's their 40th anniversary trip is crazy.
Yeah. Your daughter needs a swift kick of reality right in the tuchus. That makes me laugh, tuchus. She had the audacity to invite her family on your romantic weekend with the express purpose of securing babysitters so she could enjoy herself without any thought for her parents. The entitlement is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's very entitled, and you even had to change resorts.
NTA, you essentially paid for her holiday. If you then go elsewhere, then that's up to you. You have no obligation to tell her or check with her first. She has no right to expect you to be her babysitter on your 40-year wedding anniversary trip.
All those things are true, but also this is his daughter. He needs to maintain a relationship with her, and ditching her, ghosting her, is obviously going to cause a rift.
Yeah. So everybody sucks there, but mostly Jane.
Mostly Jane, yep. He was so close to being NTA, in my opinion, and then he's like, I just decided I'm gonna not tell anyone. Couldn't even conspire with his wife.
Am I the asshole for inviting my girlfriend on an expensive vacation and expecting her to pay all of her share? In parentheses, I make a lot more than her.
I don't, from the information, I'm not 100% sure, but it just seems like a good boyfriend thing to do, to pay for some of her share, vacation expenses. I'm gonna say asshole at this point.
Okay, let's get to the story. My girlfriend, 28 female, myself, 29 male, my parents, and my brother and his wife all went on vacation in another country a week ago. My brother and I were the ones who did most of the planning of the itinerary, although we did ask everyone else for input. For background, I make around $150K as an IT consultant. My girlfriend is a teacher making $45K. My parents are pretty affluent, as well as my brother and sister-in-law. My girlfriend knew this trip was coming up and took on a second job waitressing on the weekends for several months to get ready for it.
Oh, the American education system.
We have always split things 50-50 in the 2 years we have been together. There were a few times on the vacation when she did not go on outings with us, wine tasting, scuba diving, etc. She also would only eat 2 meals a day, simply stating that she was on a budget. My family does favor more high-end, expensive places. My parents thought it was very strange that she only eats 2 meals a day, although normally she eats 3. When we got home, I asked her why she skipped out on several of the outings and only ate 2 meals a day. I mentioned how I heard her stomach growling one night, and I said I was concerned about her having an eating disorder.
She said she was on a budget. You didn't pick up on the fact that she was having trouble affording this trip?
Right?
Come on, man. It's your girlfriend of 2 years. That's the part I wasn't sure about. I'm like, is this like a girlfriend of like a month? No, it's a 2-year girlfriend. That's fiance territory. You should just be paying for things.
She got teary-eyed and said that 3 meals a day wasn't fiscally feasible for her, and neither were the outings that she chose not to go on. She went on 3 of the 6 outings. She said she was not expecting everything to cost so much, and she was overwhelmed. She also said that she doesn't know if this is going to work long term if she's expected to go on vacations like that with people who make so much more than her. I feel bad that I did not pick up on her discomfort sooner, but we did agree to split everything 50-50, and I don't know why she agreed to come if the cost was an issue.
Okay, bro. You almost had me when you said, I feel bad that I didn't pick up on it, and then you immediately just dove right back into the hole. Like, no, she's obviously making a lot less than you. It's so much more for her, percentage-wise.
To go on this fancy trip to another country, do expensive excursions, and eat at expensive restaurants.
Yeah, and you're like, well, we agreed it would be half and half. That's not how relationships work. I'm sorry.
Right? I was like, does he even like his girlfriend?
It doesn't sound like it.
He's so concerned about splitting everything 50-50. And I think, in my opinion, if this was like I was earning 3 times as much as my partner and we were going on vacation, I would want to split things like I'm paying 75% and you're paying 25% or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, split it percentage-wise based on our salaries.
That's perfectly reasonable if you're going to split it, or just be like, hey, let me pick up the tab here and there. Like,
or be like, hey, what can you afford? And let's plan a vacation based around your budget to the lower earning person, because this is not fair.
No, that's not fair to her, to make her feel like she's obligated to follow along with your family's expensive tastes.
Yeah, also, if I noticed that someone was like, oh no, I'm not gonna get anything to eat here, or I'm not going out to dinner with you guys this time, I'd be like, come, I'm paying.
Yeah.
I'll pay for you. Come on, let's go. You know, I was like, how did he not pick up that she's doing this because of money? And if someone that I loved was not eating because they couldn't afford it, I would totally pay for it. And not make them feel bad about it.
It sounds like she said it.
Yeah.
Just in a polite way.
I'm budgeting.
I'm budgeting, which is a way to say, like, I don't want you to feel bad that you guys want to do these expensive things.
Mm-hmm.
As a boyfriend, you should be able to pick up on that. It sounds like she needs to be very blunt with you. And even if she is, you're going to be like, well, we agreed 50-50.
I can't believe he let her go hungry on this trip. He does not like her at all.
He sounds so oblivious is the thing. He's like, I was worried you had an eating disorder. What?
Right? What the heck? I mean, normally she eats good at home, but now we're in another country and she's suddenly not eating. I think she might have anorexia.
Yeah, that must be it, right? That's the only logical explanation. Not that I should buy my girlfriend a hamburger.
And like, she's working an extra waitressing job for months to prepare for this trip, and he didn't catch up that money was an issue for her.
That's such a red flag to be like, to not be like, hey, don't go working a second job. Let's hang out. I will pay.
Yeah, because he can obviously afford it. I would be like, I will cover some of your things so you don't have to work a second job. Because who wants to work a second job? That sounds exhausting.
That is exhausting. She's not making bad money. Like, $45K isn't awful. It's not good, but it's not.
It's what's expected as a teacher, you know, which is really sad. But
it is.
Also, like, I wouldn't want to go on the outings if you weren't going with me because of money reasons. Right? I'd be like, well, I don't want to do it if Josh isn't going. It's not fun without Josh.
Yeah.
Unless there was, like, a legitimate reason, like, it was something I really wanted to do and something you absolutely did not want to do. Yeah,
you're going to go and have fun with your family, but that's, like, a couple's choice.
Yeah.
Not a, like, well, I'm going, and if you can manage it, otherwise have fun in the hotel.
I didn't even go on the teacup rides at Disney World because you wouldn't go with me, and I wasn't doing it without you because that's just not fun. Even though the teacups are my favorite, but doing it alone is sad.
You did it with your nephews that one time, didn't you?
No, we never did the teacups.
Oh.
We did something else similar,
Okay, well,
but
I'm still not doing teacups with you no matter how much you want
I
me to.
know they make you puke. But it's sad because they're my favorite.
Solo rider line. I am not budging on this one.
Teacups by yourself is sad.
No, you'll be with some strange other solo rider.
That's weird.
You can be sad in the teacup together. We got way off topic.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, I wouldn't have fun on excursions if you weren't coming with me and I knew you wanted to, but you weren't there, and I would feel really bad and not have fun. I don't know. This guy seems like he, first of all, is really oblivious, doesn't like his girlfriend, and is very self-centered, and too stuck on the money aspect, which is bad when he's the one earning more.
Yeah, absolutely. He's missing the ability to pick up on social cues. How badly did Reddit tear into this guy?
Oh, everybody says he's 100% the asshole. YTA, you make 3 times what she does. You knew she had to take a second job to be able to go. You planned the holiday / the activities. She even said while you were there that she could only afford to eat 2 meals a day. Don't plan for your budget when you know she makes so much less than you. I think it's safe to say she didn't enjoy the holiday at all. She probably found it stressful to work out what she could afford and embarrassing to have to skip meals.
Yeah, that's so stressful when you're on a vacation and like
counting pennies the whole time.
Yeah, counting your pennies the whole time is so awful.
And she probably couldn't even really actually afford what she did spend. She'll probably need months to recover the savings.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's thinking, like, you know, eating at normal restaurants, and they're like, we're going to the fanciest, most expensive places.
Yes.
And she was like, I was not budgeting for that.
Nope, I was budgeting for 1 fancy meal a day.
Yeah. YTA, dude, come on. Your girlfriend had to take a second job to keep up with your family. You heard her stomach growling, yet you didn't think that maybe she might not have the cash? God, you're not the brightest, are you?
No, he's really not.
You make over $100,000 more than her, and you don't even treat her to a holiday? You're the asshole. It's not going to work. You're blind to your girlfriend's struggles. Help her.
Yeah, he's so blind to it. Like, that's insane to me. Like, he didn't even go as far as to treat her to a meal.
Right? He is 100%. We must stick to the 50-50 budget.
Yeah, that's crazy. After 2 years, you're not going to be like, I planned a romantic dinner. I'm going to take you out on the town. Maybe she was expecting that a little, man.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. She's probably used to you after 2 years.
Yeah.
Sounds like they go Dutch just on dates. Like,
I don't know. He makes me angry.
He makes probably all of Reddit angry too.
Am I the asshole for telling my daughter-in-law and son that it is too late and I will not change the family vacation plans so they can come?
And no, you're not the asshole. Especially after all the other ones I've just listened to.
But it's a family vacation.
Too bad, it's too late.
Every year I try to do a family vacation. Around Easter, I ask everyone for their availability. The best days for almost everyone was a winter vacation. My daughter-in-law and son told me that day wouldn't work for her, so they can't go. I asked if the backup dates would work, and it was a no. Usually, the vacation is something that everyone can drive to. It was going to be the same until all of the adults agreed that the kids were old enough to leave the country. So now the trip is to Europe. Everyone has bought their tickets, and I've booked where we're staying. Everything is getting finalized. My son and daughter-in-law were not in the family vacation chat since they weren't going on the vacation. They heard about the plans and want to be added in. She called me up asking about it and what they needed to do. I asked her how she could get work off, and she explained she just could. I personally think she didn't want to go on the trip until she learned it was to Europe, and lied to me that she couldn't come in the first place.
Oh.
I told her it is too late. Things are booked, and I'm not willing to pay more than I already have. I paid for all the lodgings, and we would need to upgrade to fit 2 more adults. She asked me if I was serious and that it is cruel to not include them on a family trip around Christmas. I told her it is what it is and it's not my fault. My son is pissed. He told me that I can afford to add 2 more adults, and that is true. But I reiterated what I told his wife. He called me a jerk. I want an outside opinion. Am I the asshole?
You're not the asshole, it sounds like. No. They flat out said we can't make it, and then they're like, oh, we could make it. No, I think you had the right idea. They didn't want to go on the vacation until they realized it was a good vacation. And it sounds like up to this point, a lot of the vacations have been like catered to the kids.
Yeah.
And now they're old enough to go outside the country. So now it's an adult's vacation.
And now she wants in on it?
Yeah, a free trip to Europe, it sounds like. Or at least a cheaper one. If they're paying for all the lodging. And you'd have to rebook all that lodging? That's hard.
One of the top comments. NTA, it's rather clear daughter-in-law didn't want to drive, but loves the idea of a European trip that you pay for. It was solely her actions that resulted in this situation. If you want, tell them how much extra it's going to cost and let them pick that up. If you don't want to, that's fine as well.
Yeah, it sounds like they were expecting Dad to pick up the tab here.
And only wanting to do it now that it's a cool, good vacation.
Yeah.
NTA, you gave them multiple dates and they said they couldn't come. I would send them the itinerary and tell them that if they can make it, great, but you're not adjusting your bookings.
Yeah, be like, I can't. I mean, can you even cancel things at this point? It depends on a lot.
Upgrade them. A lot of places will let you upgrade.
Yeah, they might let you upgrade.
Yeah, we'll take more of your money.
Right?
Yeah, I think the daughter made her bed and now she has to lie in it.
I think so. Yeah.
Her daughter-in-law.
Oh, well, son didn't help either.
Yeah, son just went along with, well, my wife doesn't want to go, so I guess we're not going.
Are we blaming the daughter-in-law for everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just both of them suck.
The daughter-in-law was the one who's like, no, I can't make it that day. I have to work. No, I can't make it to these other days either. So
okay.
They never mentioned what the son said.
He was.
So it sounds like he's just going along with whatever his wife wants.
Yep. Let his wife be the bad guy.
Yeah, not the asshole. I mean, it'd be nice if you included them, but they
had their chance. You were nice. You included them, and they backed out. And then at a certain point, it's pushover behavior.
Good point. Yeah. Well, that's it for our vacation episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet.
Thanks for joining on this trip. If you liked this, give us a follow, and we'll see you next time.